I found out my wife was married to another man 3 miles from our home on the day I bought her a new car. My name is Michael Grant. I'm 39 years old. Born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. Now I live in a quiet suburb outside of Cincinnati. I run an engineering firm that designs structural reinforcements for commercial buildings. It's not glamorous, but it's damn good work. I've built my life from the ground up through grit, long nights, and a quiet refusal to quit when everything was against me. I didn't grow up with much. My mom worked at a laundromat. My dad vanished before I could form a memory of his face. I put myself through Ohio State by working construction during the day and studying at night. I didn't party. I didn't date much. I watched other guys blow their scholarships, and I kept my head down. 4 years later, I graduated debt-free. 15 years after that, I had 3 patents, 70 employees, and a view of the Ohio River from the window of my office. Success has a cost. I paid it. Missed birthdays, long hours, grit in my stomach when the economy turned, sleepless nights worrying about payroll. But I made it through. I built something I was proud of, something real. And when I met Alyssa, I thought maybe it was time to build something personal. She was a nurse practitioner, smart, calm, funny in a way that didn't try too hard. We met at a fundraiser for a veterans hospital I'd quietly donated to. She'd been on the board, helping with patient outreach. Her eyes were soft and knowing. Her smile landed quietly and stayed there. It didn't feel flashy or forced. She didn't talk about money. She asked about my mother. We dated for a year and married the next. She moved into my home in Anderson Township, large but not showy, white brick colonial tucked between rows of dogwoods and silver maples. Our life was quiet, dinners at home, walks in the park. She said she liked peace. After so many years of struggle, I did too. The first red flag didn't come wrapped in drama. It came on a Sunday morning, 6 months into our marriage. Alyssa said she was visiting her sister in Covington, across the river. She left early. I noticed she forgot her phone on the kitchen counter. I figured I'd drive it to her, just being thoughtful. I got halfway across the bridge when I stopped. A strange feeling washed over me, not suspicion, not anger, just a hesitation. I turned around. Left the phone on the counter. That was the first time. The second time was smaller. She started paying for things in cash. Gas, groceries, even online orders, always a friend reimbursing her, or using leftover wedding money. We kept our finances separate by her request, which I found a little odd but respected. It makes me feel more independent, she'd said. Then there was the mail. Once a month, like clockwork, she'd stop me from collecting it on Saturdays. Just work stuff, she'd say. Private medical paperwork. A chai PA and all. But the envelope I accidentally opened, expecting it to be from me, was from a bank I'd never heard of. It wasn't addressed to Alyssa Grant. It was to Alyssa Jameson. I asked her about it. She didn't blink. Said it was her maiden name, used for old accounts before we married. Seemed plausible. Still, something was beginning to buzz in the walls of my life. Quiet. Constant. Like a low electric hum I couldn't trace. Then came the day of the car. I'd been working with a client in Louisville for weeks, juggling late nights and tight timelines. When the deal finally closed, I bought Alyssa a new car, a white Lexus RX, fully loaded. It wasn't her birthday. It wasn't an anniversary. I just wanted to say thank you for her patience. She cried when I handed her the keys, held my face in her hands and said, "I don't deserve you." She was right, because later that night she told me she was staying over at her sister's again, just to catch up and watch movies. Something in me finally stirred. I waited 20 minutes after she left, then got in my truck. I didn't go to Covington. I drove to the return address on that mysterious envelope, a small brownstone apartment building near Xavier University. She wasn't at her sister's, she was inside apartment 2B. With him, he opened the door shirtless. Tall, athletic, younger than me by a decade, tattoos on his arms, a Reds cap turned backward. I didn't say a word. I saw her behind him, frozen in the hallway, eyes wide like a child caught lying. "Mike," she said, voice cracking, "I can explain." I walked away, calmly. The night air tasted metallic, like blood in the mouth after a hard punch. Her things were already gone by the time I got home. She must have packed weeks ago. The betrayal wasn't just infidelity. It was a parallel life. 2 homes, 2 identities. 2 phones. I found the second one in a box in the garage, tucked behind paint cans. 2 men. I wasn't even the only husband. He had a ring too, photos in their apartment, a lease with both their names. She had taken her middle name, Jameson, and lived as a different woman 3 miles away. She'd married me under false identity, under false intent, under a full false life. My name on the marriage license? Real. Her vows? Manufactured? The sick part? She didn't want to leave me. She wanted both lives, my stability. His passion, my home, his fire escape sex, my salary, his spontaneity. I was the insurance policy. The humiliation didn't come from her infidelity. It came from the scale of her performance. Friends had met her. My mother had hugged her. She'd worn a white dress and cried in front of 70 guests. And all the while she had keys to another apartment and a toothbrush in another man's bathroom. I didn't scream, didn't burn her things. Didn't call him or her or show up at that apartment again. Instead, I did what quiet men do when broken. I went inward. I made coffee at 4:30 a.m. the next day and was at my desk before dawn. I rescheduled meetings, worked until midnight, cleaned out the garage, donated her clothes, sent her a typed letter to a P.O. box she used formal, final, and unemotional. I understand everything now. Divorce papers are on the way. No need to contact me. Michael. She didn't reply. A week later, I visited a lawyer in Oakley who specialized in cases of marital fraud. We filed quietly. Since she had no legal income tied to mine, and since our finances were separate, she couldn't claim a cent. Not even the car. I had titled it under my name alone. I learned from a mutual friend that she tried to return the Lexus. Dealership wouldn't take it back without my signature. It sat in the parking lot of apartment 2B for 3 weeks, then disappeared. 3 months passed. I didn't tell anyone what really happened. Not my coworkers. Not even my mother. I let the rumors fly. Amicable separation, different life goals. The truth was too bizarre, too theatrical. People wouldn't believe it, and besides, I didn't need the sympathy. What I needed was peace. And to get it, I had to reclaim something far more important than revenge. Myself. I changed the locks. Repainted the living room. Gutted the bedroom we once shared and made it into a library with deep walnut shelves. I filled it with books, philosophy, history, even poetry. Things I never made time for when I was building everything. Then I took 3 weeks off. Went west. Rented a cabin near Flathead Lake, Montana. No phone. No laptop. Just me, a fire, and still water. There were moments, I'll admit, where I missed her, or what I thought she was. Her laugh in the morning. The way she hummed while folding laundry. The little love notes she left in my suit jackets, now clearly just props in her double act. But I didn't hate her. Hate gives people space in your head. She hadn't just betrayed me. She had hollowed herself out to perform 2 lives. That's a kind of tragedy I wouldn't wish on anyone. When I returned to Cincinnati, I was different, calmer, harder, clearer. People noticed. My employees said I seemed more focused. My friend said I looked 5 years younger. I didn't explain why. Then came the real moment of closure. I was meeting a new contractor about a structural retrofit downtown. We sat at a small coffee shop on Vine Street. Midday sun pouring through the windows, and there she was, Alyssa. In scrubs, hair pulled back. No makeup, holding a cup of tea and looking smaller somehow. Thinner, less composed, alone. She saw me through the glass and froze. I nodded once. No smile, no scowl. Just a small, polite acknowledgement. Like you'd give someone who once lived next door. Then I turned back to my contractor. Didn't even watch her walk away. That was the moment I knew I had won, not by confronting her, not by exposing her, but by living better, cleaner, quieter, freer. There are betrayals so deep they scar you, but scars do something else too. They harden. They remind you what you survived, and they never let you forget who you are, no matter how many lies someone tries to build around you. 6 months after I saw her on Vine Street, my phone buzzed while I was reading in the library that used to be our bedroom. Unknown number. No voicemail. A few minutes later, a text. Hi, I don't even know if this is still your number. It's Alyssa. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything, I didn't reply. There are wounds that reopen if you pick at them. I'd done the work to heal. I wasn't about to start bleeding again just because she wanted closure at her convenience. But I won't lie, the message sat in my chest like a weight for days. Not because I wanted her back, not because I missed her, but because some part of me still couldn't understand why. Why the lie? Why the second life? Why marry me at all? The answers never came, just more messages. Always from different numbers. You didn't deserve what I did. I was in a bad place. I didn't know who I was. He left too. Can we talk? Please? Just one conversation. I need you to hear me. Need, that word again. She needed me the way a drowning person needs a rope, but I wasn't her lifeline anymore. She'd cut that rope with her own hand, smiling while she did it. Then came the envelope, handwritten. No return address. Delivered to my office. My assistant placed it on my desk like it was just another vendor invoice. I opened it slowly. Inside, a folded sheet of lined paper, not printed, not typed. Just a messy scrawl of desperate emotion. Michael, I know you don't owe me anything. But I want you to know I'm not well. I've been in therapy. I've been trying to understand why I did what I did. I sabotaged the best thing I ever had. I think about you every day. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope you know I never stopped loving you. Please call me. Even just once, Alyssa. She had included a number. This time I did call, not to rekindle anything, not to hear her out, but because I needed to close the last door with my own words. She answered on the second ring, breathless. Michael? Yes. Silence. A beat. Then, I didn't think you'd call. I just wanted to say one thing, I said calmly. You don't need my forgiveness to move on. You need your own. Don't look for it in people you hurt. Find it in the mirror. Her voice cracked. I just wanted to fix. You can't fix the past, Alyssa. You can only live with it. Click. That was the last time we spoke. A year passed. My business expanded. We landed a federal contract for earthquake retrofitting in schools across the Midwest. I started running in the mornings, not for speed, for rhythm, breath, clarity. I kept my circle small, spent more time with my mother, took my nephew to baseball games. I rebuilt, not out of revenge, but out of quiet necessity. That's the thing no one tells you about betrayal. The aftermath isn't loud. It's silent. Just you, your thoughts, and the space where a future used to be. But that space? It's also a blank canvas. And eventually, I began to paint something new. Then came the moment that felt like the final page. It was a Saturday in April. I was at the Echo in Hyde Park, my usual breakfast spot. Eggs, toast, black coffee. A spring breeze through the windows. The Reds game playing low on the TV behind the counter. I was sitting alone, as I often did now, when a woman walked in with a little boy. The woman was Alyssa. She looked tired, drawn, her hair darker, no ring on her finger. The boy was maybe 4, holding her hand, asking for pancakes. She didn't see me at first. But when she did, she froze again, just like on Vine Street. This time I didn't look away. I held her gaze for a long, still second. Then gave her a slight nod and turned back to my coffee. Not coldly, just completely indifferent. She stood there a moment longer, lips parted like she might say something. But she didn't. She took a booth in the far corner, out of my sight. That was it. That was the real ending. Not courtroom drama, not dramatic confrontations or screaming in the rain. Just two people who once shared a home, now sharing nothing but oxygen in a local diner. She wanted a second chance? But by the time she reached for it, I had already walked into a life that didn't include her. And it was better in every single way. The best revenge is not being better than them, it's being better without them. If you enjoyed this story, please give a thumbs up to the video and consider subscribing to the channel for more powerful true life stories.